everyone. I think this works now. Hi everyone, greetings and a very warm welcome to the session on circular economy. It's my delight to open the session and share my, is good? Okay. It's just too much in the face. Yeah, sorry, I have to do it a bit down. So it's my pleasure to start the session and give you my views on what I believe is circularity. So I won't call it it's a universal view, but I would like to say it's my view. So one of the things that has happened, especially in the last few years, that circularity has become a talk of the town. Everyone is talking about circular economy, everyone is talking about going circular, moving from linear business models to circular business models. But if you start looking at grassroots पे क्या हो रहा है, you know, reality is कि काम तो वैसे ही चल रहा है, but उसका नाम बदल दिया है. And that is the reality. And I would really like to emphasize it because I'm seeing it across multiple forums, whether they are Indian forums, international forums, all types of forums, including Davos. So that is what we are seeing, that a dialogue is happening, but reality it's not really hitting the ground. The grassroots changes which are required to truly make circularity happen is still at a very, very nascent stage. So let's just discuss, at least from my point of view, what is circularity. So this is not working. Okay. Where do I point?
I'll help you, sir.
So let's start anyhow. So if you think about any product, you know, right from the clothes we wear to the pen we use to the mobile phones that we have to the laptops, you know, anything, chairs, tables, we know, ये products कहाँ से आते हैं, and there is so much work on design of the products, manufacture of the products, putting these products in the market. But now, if you start thinking what happens to this at the end of its life, शायद हमारे पास किसी भी चीज़ का आंसर नहीं है. Even for a simple thing like a pencil and a pen, we don't know what to do with it at the end of its life. And in most cases, this is just ending up in landfills or in our drawers, हमारे घर में कहीं पड़ा रहेगा, and then suddenly it will just disappear. And if we are to talk of large scale, you know, change, and I'm talking of a change at a population scale, because the good thing is COP27 is happening right at this point in time. We are really staring at climate-related issues, and this is the real decade of action. So anything that we need to do in terms of making products go circular, it is to be done now. Now, if we look at what Ellen MacArthur Foundation talks about circular economy, which is the most widely acceptable definition today, it's really about you know, material circularity. Essentially about material circularity, that materials that have gone to create a product, can we get them back, and can we create a similar level of product? It is important to have similar level of product because we are not talking of downcycling here. We are really talking, you know, doing engineering to a level that, you know, printer se plastic nikala, usi se naya printer banaya. So we are really talking of that. We are not talking about printer se plastic nikala or usse park bench banai. That is downcycling. So what is it that is required to really make it all happen? And this is a issue across product categories. Think of anything. You can't find systems for even one single category which are truly functional at a population scale. I like to emphasize again and again population scale. I'm not talking of pilots. I'm not talking something which works in one city but doesn't work at a population scale. So what are the interventions that are required at a global scale if we are to really solve this problem? सबसे पहला है design interventions. And design interventions are something that are very difficult to do by an outside organization. We are an outside organization which helps companies go circular, which essentially would mean what kind of materials do I put in the product, what kind of design do I do so that materials उसमें से extract करे जा सकते हैं. Think of a simple thing like pen. You know, I have a pen here. So even this pen has, you know, at least 11 or 12 different materials जो बिल्कुल deeply stuck हैं. And if you are to recycle them, how do you recycle them? So this essentially, how do I design a better pen, goes in this space of design interventions. So that, you know, maybe it has only one type of plastic instead of carrying 5 types of plastics. You know, it's not necessary to embed a steel material in the plastic because it's almost impossible to get it out. So There are first level design interventions. Then we are talking of business model interventions. Can I sell a service instead of a product, which means I always get the product for recycling back. And then the third is where Karo Sambhav kind of organization comes into being, which is end of life interventions. And end of life interventions means essentially three things. सबसे पहला, collection होगा कैसे? How do we collect? And can we continue relying on the informal economy to clean up this mess? At one end, we want companies which are top of the class companies, high top technology companies to design products. And when the product is out with us, after that we are assuming that an informal sector का गाड़ी वाला, waste picker, जिसके पास कोई resources नहीं है, means नहीं है, livelihood नहीं चलती उसकी, he has all the engineering to really solve this problem at scale. This is not how it can work. So we need fundamentally different collection systems. We need participation of people, and that participation will only happen if it is easy for people to participate and they can truly trust the system. Truly trust is the key. Otherwise, change would not happen. The second is, agar ikhatta ho bhi gaya, can we recycle it? Are there solutions to recycle it? There are so many definitions of recycling, but here I'm talking of true material recovery. Can I recover every element which has gone into the product and make a new product of similar variety from that? And here again, the answer is, for 90% of the things, we honestly don't have an answer. Only for mono materials like glass, like PET in many cases, when it's a single monomer material, you have answers. But the moment you talk of a complex material, you don't have answers. And then the third is, which is the most difficult and something which is not being talked, is the secondary material part. How do you re-engineer? Even if you have recovered waste material, can you truly make a new product out of it? And this is where the biggest failures are today. The good news is regulation is starting to push that companies need to invest in that. But if you were to talk to any of the companies who are putting even singular materials on the market, have they designed their materials for reutilization? The answer is no. And because waste will never be homogeneous, this is another big problem. You will always end up getting 20 different types of pen, 20 different types of clothes, 20 different types of mobile phones. So you don't have homogeneous mix of materials, and to create a new product, you need homogeneous mix. So you don't have standardized technical specifications, which again make it a nightmare to create a product of a similar variety. So I'm just bringing some of the issues which are important. And if I go into how to solve this problem, and I believe the panel will talk about it at great length, the very first thing is, where is the capital to make it all happen? Who's going to bring in this capital? Because we are talking of a very fundamental shift in the way the society works today. We are essentially talking about the second half of the economy which has not been created yet. We are creating products, but we are not uncreating them. And we need to uncreate products. We need to have systems to uncreate products. So who's going to fund it? So we have, well, at least CSR funding. Can it be deployed? The answer is yes. But is it enough? The answer is definitely no. Equity funding, some of it has started to, with ESG funds coming into being, some of it is starting to come into space. And then third is, can companies internalize this? Which means I increase the cost of my product to make it happen. So instead of a packet of chips being sold for 20 rupees, it is sold at 20.03 rupees. So 3 paisa I am increasing because I need to fund my circularity transition. So that's the first part. Second is the industry frameworks. What kind of standards, benchmarks, best practices? Nothing exists in circularity space, very, very early stages. So this is very ripe for intervention for any single organization, and this can't be done by a single individual. It is a whole range of organizations which would need to make it happen. And so coming back to what Karo Sambhav does, we are a 6-year-old organization. We enable circular economy at scale for some of the largest companies, whether it is CPG sector or electronics or glass, batteries. We are enabling that at scale, essentially by creating these 3 systems. First is collection, second is recycling ecosystem, and third is secondary materials. With that, I'd like to thank you.